Hey, y'all, can you hear us? Lunar Outlaw, can you see us? I see what's up, John Woodworth. Talking to the Squirrel Man.
Can y'all hear anything?
Wait a minute, let me check our mic settings. Hello, Captain Dew. Hello, everyone. George Bonnie 90. Can any of y'all hear us? That's the main thing.
Hello? Hello?
Looks like we're good. Procharge Mopar says thumbs up.
All right. So you can hear us.
Very cool. We got 12 people on here.
There you go.
Sounds good. Says we can hear. If George Bonnie 90 says we can hear you, then we are definitely good.
Cool.
George Bonnie 90 is a reliable guy. He tends to know what's going on.
Excellent.
So what do you guys think? I finally drug JustMoparJoe out to do a live. Who has a channel as big and exciting as JustMoparJoe and hasn't done a live before? It was just overdue. Look at the fountain of wisdom you guys have here, and sitting right here. It's your chance to ask him stuff. All right. So, okay, first question was about the car. That's not a Hellcat back there, is it? What is that?
It's a Scat Pack. 6'4".
Oh, okay. All right. 318 wheel run. Hey, 318 wheel run. See the logo? Aha.
He's representing.
That's right. Had to have that shirt today because to give us encouragement on this short block here. That 318 will run. If we can get the right rod bearings. So despite my best effort to order the right part number, somehow between my screen and my eyes and what arrived in the mail were undersized rod bearings. So,
yep,
I have rod bearings in the morning. But anyway, other than that, everything else is going really well.
We're doing a good job changing the oil in this Challenger behind us.
That's right. That's a great job because we're not the ones doing it.
Yep.
Ari says he was just working on at Zero's 318. Excellent. Good stuff. Let's see. Jared Rigney, Barracuda. I know he's thinking of the Heart song. That's what he's thinking.
Oh.
Yeah, you know he is.
You did. What is everybody else working on? Did you ask?
Yeah.
What are y'all working on?
They always tell me.
I know what ProCharge Mopar is working on.
Yeah, what are you guys working on? So Ari told us he's working on 318. We just worked on a Philly cheesesteak and some chili and cheese curly fries and nachos, the burger for this little stand he's got here in town. That's pretty cool. It's a nice little spot.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So I got this bright light in my face to drown out the even brighter light on my back, so I'm reading comments from the phone. So how sophisticated is this? I have StreamYard, and I'm not even using it because of this. Yeah, so Lunar Outlaw Garage says he got the 318 back in the satellite.
Nice.
So when are you going to make smoke with that thing? You got to turn those 235s into, like a one size shorter with smoke. Oh, I'll tell you what. So I'm here in Arkansas. I've never actually visited Arkansas. I've only been through it before. Now I know why Arkansas State Police have the best car chases on YouTube. These roads here are all just dragways with lines. That's a dragways. Yeah, the roads are flat and straight forever.
Everywhere's a race that you go. So
yeah. Ari says his mom's in Jonesboro.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's about an hour and 15 minutes from here.
So you're between Memphis and Little Rock.
Yeah.
Roughly.
Yeah.
It's pretty out here. It's just flat farmland and it's flat. Unfinished projects says Plan Z. I can't imagine.
Plan Z's cool. Yeah.
Plan Z is cool. And he says he types that out every time. He does not have it hotkeyed. I can't believe that.
Did he say that really?
Yeah, he says, I asked him because I figured he had it like on a hotkey on his phone. That's about the only thing he ever utters.
That's cool.
Jonathan W. Reed. Oh yeah, so Jonathan Reed there. That's the fellow that we put the cab mount floor pan in the 76 F100.
Okay.
We're working on wrapping that up, and he got the inspection covers that go over and cover that up.
Nice.
You know, the ones that hold all the mud in so that it rots the cab mounts out.
Yep. Perfect.
Mike Iben. Oh, by the way, so see Mike Iben on there. He works for Top Line Converter in Pittsburgh. Builds torque converters for a living. How cool was that?
We should ask him about the TCI deal. I mean, would he know any?
Well, yeah,
about that design?
This is the time to ask.
So the 413 guy called me. If y'all can hear me, he just called me a minute ago and said he got a TCI converter in for it. Oh, the 413's done. I got a video to show you that. There's Mopar Nut 62.
In the house.
With the converter came a flex plate, and he said the flex plate you can bolt on to the converter any way, like a Chevrolet would be, where any of the four holes would line up. I've never seen that before on a Mopar. Has anybody else? Or Mike? Or is that a new design they're coming out with?
Yeah, maybe it's just a new one. Did that converter come out of the, seems logical to me.
No, his new converter from TCI came with a flex plate.
I mean, it does make sense on something that's internally balanced.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Zach's Mopar of mashed potatoes. Who's got a D150 driver's side engine bracket for a 360 looking to sell? There.
Does it look like that?
Yeah, that's what he's needing right there. All right.
That could be a 318. I'm not sure.
We'll check it on the block.
Check it on the block.
Check it on the block.
If there's only a 318 like that. Drivers?
Yep.
Goes in front?
Back and back.
Back and back.
Back and back.
A little in there.
A little there. Okay, it's 360. What? Yeah, it is. 340, 360. Yep, Joe has one.
Let me say for sale, though.
Yeah, he looks well, but for the right price. I mean,
well, yeah,
we can make a price on it.
If that's the right one.
That's it, isn't it? That is it.
That's what we should play is fetch that part and see if I got it. And if I can get it within like 60 seconds, I win a prize or something.
Yeah, but see, if these guys pick the prizes.
Woo.
Yeah. Hey, there is Dreadhead Hayden.
There he is.
What do you think, Hayden? Check it out. Look at that thing. It's clean. Okay, got a stupidity to tell you about because, you know, tell it like it is. Despite my best efforts, somehow I ordered the wrong rod bearings. If you remember, the rod bearings came on a separate order, and I thought, well, that's unusual. I figured that just something being stock, right? The rod bearings came 2 days later. Somehow I insisted I was thinking I was ordering standard rod bearings, but they were not. They were 20 under, and that is a no-go. So picking up rod bearings in the morning, and we're all good.
Say that John there.
Well, wait a minute. Why is this guy not on my screen? So where's that cat? How come he's not on YouTube? Oh, that's interesting. Hey, look, let's put that on the screen. Glad you think so.
I'll be dipped.
More Lunar questions for Lunar. Lunar Outlaw Garage, he was hauling around a 318 in the back of a Cadillac because he had to outdo the idea that I just hauled a 170 and slant fix in the back of the CRV. That's wild, though. He's not showing up on the YouTube side, and I have no idea why because I'm even looking at it not signed in. That should be coming through.
Right. Had to take a nap.
Hayden was taking a nap. I understand that.
Yep.
Oh, so speaking of taking naps, tell you about my yesterday. So 2 days ago, I decided I'm gonna get up really early, get some vehicle maintenance done, and I put on some new tires and changed oil and all that good stuff. Had all that done before noon. Got a bunch of work done. I slept 7 hours, got up, thrashed again, 6 in the morning straight through. Now, I was washing the last of the parts for this 318, and like Like I told Joe, I'm not bringing any junk. Like everything is washed and oiled and clean and nice. I was on the last couple things. Had the last few bolts left over. Cleaning the pan. I was like 2 minutes from quitting. This was 1 a.m, night before last. And I flipped over a pan full of regular brake cleaner. And any of you guys know brake cleaner is really flammable. And it found an ignition source and started a big scary garage fire at 1 a.m. Put a 10-pound extinguisher on it, nothing. Put a 2-pound extinguisher on it, car extinguisher, nothing. Started to go for another extinguisher, and I said, nope, let me grab my hose. Called fire department. I got the fire out right as the fire department showed up, but it was a mess. So then it's 1 a.m, got the fire out 2 a.m. Then I spend till 3:30 in the morning wiping down and making sure like my first gen Hemi parts, 340. Of course I have a 340 like disassembled on a table. Right. I wouldn't have had it a week before or after, but I had it right then. Anyway, I spent wiping that down, oiling that stuff, making sure nothing rusted. Like, forget the rest of it. I'll deal with that later. I got
it'll be there when you get back.
Yeah, it'll be there when I get back. But I had to get all that cleaned up. So that was big and exciting. So that was 4 a.m. I was planning to leave at 6 anyway. I said, well, not going back to sleep now. So jumped in the car, went an hour and a half down the road, crashed, took a nap, went down to Tony's, dropped off the engine.
Yes.
Then took another nap. Then came here and crashed last night finally before coming in here and unloading. So it has been a busy.
You've been living on naps.
I've been living on that. Well, last night I got a full night. Well, last night I slept from 2 to 6:30.
Man.
So in the last 3 days, I've had probably 10 hours, 12 hours of sleep. But I feel fine, actually, which is surprising. Anyway, all that. Arkansas, is the badge still out? Oh, the bridge from the Bandit jump in 1977.
Oh.
Almost looks like that car is here.
Oh yeah.
He has a Smokey and the Bandit Trans Am sitting back there.
Did you? I saw a minute ago the guy asked me about the motor mount.
Yep.
Just send me an email. My email is JustMoparJoe, all one word, at Gmail, and we can get it figured out.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, check this out. So I'm trying to watch comments. I have to have a light so that we don't just look like silhouettes here. But Rodney Bird says 1 month since your 4.7 Magnum joke. I figured it out when the CD manual. Yeah, when I had the CD-ROM manual,
yep.
That's when he figured out it was a joke. That's going into Dakota. So anyway, that's what that's going in. Okay.
Yeah, we were talking about that a minute ago. A lot of people didn't get the joke until a little bit after, and I'm like, I knew it.
That was the part of the fun.
It's like there's no way.
That was part of the fun.
Be a solid boat anchor. I mean.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was really selling it too.
Yes.
Yeah, I was selling it. And here's the thing: on paper, it sounds good, but I'm sure the people who designed that are people who just work behind computers, and if it looks good on paper, it's good to them. They've never actually worked on anything. And I'll tell you, they make good power. The 4.7 makes good. It's good engine in that regard, but they're not durable. I mean, they spin rod bearings, they break heads, they just.
What's the timing chain like on that?
About 12 feet long.
There's your problem.
It's a nightmare. Yeah, it's a nightmare. And it comes from people who don't have any real world experience. They just work behind computers. That's why you have that.
Yeah.
Whereas, like in the 60s, Chrysler engineers, they would engineer and they would go race on the weekends. Their engineers raced cars to track, so they will be better engineers.
Yeah.
We don't have that anymore. That's why new cars suck.
Yeah.
Bump Stick said I took my 4.7 to 7K. 7,000 miles? That's not bad.
A zinger.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, here he goes. So Rodney Bird said he's got 2 Dakota quad cabs and they're coming out for 360s. Yeah, that's the better way to go. That's the better way to go. What I'm going to put that 4.7 in my Dakota, but if I had it to do over again, or if that one blows up, I probably will do an LA variant of some kind.
Yeah,
I think it'd be a better deal.
Sweet.
Designer only has graphite under their nails. Okay, now, dude, you're really dating yourself there. Let's see here. Bump stick. I tell you, now, this guy, he submitted some pictures for the virtual car show that we did on Uncle Tony's Garage, and he's got some interesting stuff going on. Like he builds transmissions and different stuff. He's a very engineering kind of guy. Bump stick is. What a character. What's going on here with Captain Do? The band at TA came with an Olds 403. Yeah, they did. I don't know. No, I don't think they had Oldsmobile engines. That's 6.6 or whatever. Yeah, it was something weird like that. It was something weird like that.
I could ask Corby.
I've never. Is that safe?
Maybe not.
Is that? I don't know. I've never worked on one of those.
No,
I never have.
Never been a Pontiac man.
MoParnut62 says I'm an old man. Well, I'll tell you what, it's all relative, and we have found that the demographic that watches our videos is much older than we would have thought.
Yeah.
I mean, really. I mean, seriously, like 50s, 65. I feel a lot more than you thought.
A lot of times I feel like they're cheering me on, and then other times it's like, oh, don't do that.
Wait. I got a tube of I have that RTV in there. I know I do.
Yeah.
Okay. So Joe has a guy that watches Steve 1961P. If you're watching, this is for you. I just do it. I don't. Anyway, some people have heartburn about RTV, right? And I get it. RTV wasn't as. The problem with RTV is back when it first came out, people thought that it could replace anything. Like if you have a lake, a natural lake somewhere, and the water level's going down, if you put enough RTV in it, and that's how they used it, nice. Right? I mean, I pull apart stuff with strings of RTV. But come on, guys, it's a great product. You just use it in moderation, but it still worries some people. And I used this liberally when I put the rear main seal in that, and it's fine. I'm telling you.
Good to go.
But anyway, for people who like to heckle, we will heckle you back. There's an old tube of it. But no, he seems like an okay guy. He's very conscientious, and even the people who like to be critical, at least they spend their time to watch our entire video.
Yep.
To do that, and that's cool.
That's what I like.
We made 2 cents off of that.
I get better.
And we get better from it.
Learn a lot from it.
Oh, that's great. Curtis Randolph says, thanks for helping me with my torque converter problem. He said it's running smooth. Nice. What was the deal? I can't remember what the deal was on. I think he had a mix match between the neutral balance.
Yep.
Or no, he had like the counterweight thing.
Did you got the flywheel, right? The flex plate that had the cutout in it? And put that with your 318 converter?
Mo Parnut says, I know people who think RTV is for everything. I'm telling you what, there are guys out there that would make a whole boat out of RTV if they had them on.
Hey, it's Flex Seal. you could put your window screen door right in the bottom of your boat. You're
exactly right. This was Flex Seal before it was a spray can.
Yep.
That's all they did. They figured out how to take this, put the spray can. What casting year is that 318? It is a cast. I can see it right here. September 17th, 1987, 88 model year. From a take care. From a 88 Diplomat, and it's a nice block. It had, it needed a hard hone. It's probably cleaning up 3 and 4 thousandths over on some of those, but they don't have any taper.
They can't hear you over the Hemi tick.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I hear it. Yeah. Oh, those are lifters that don't fail, right?
There you go. My mom thinks it's an exhaust leak. She's like, my exhaust is leaking.
That's a lifter. That's not an exhaust.
It goes away after a few minutes.
That's not an exhaust leak.
Every time.
Nah. That's not an exhaust leak. All right.
But I like Hemis. I got one.
Yeah, so Curtis added the correct weights onto the 318 torque converter.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah. So anyway, I lost my train of thought like that. He added the correct weights on the torque converter, and he had to get the early for the non-lock. Yeah. Okay. Non-lock. Yeah. That will do it.
Nice.
So, oh yeah, I was gonna say I'm losing some of these comments. I'm trying to check it from my phone. What would you say about the original General Lee from the TV show, not the movie or Boss Hog Caddy? What do you mean by that? Do you mean like one of the original Chargers? You mean like one of the original Chargers from the show? Or do you mean like movie car? Because
it's what he said from the TV show.
Okay.
I think a lot of them, they just had all random engines, right? Some were 318, some were...
Yeah, the prop guys from Warner Brothers, they filmed the first 5 seasons in Covington, Georgia. And on my channel, I did a tour of some of those original filming locations. You can actually go see that. So they did the first 5 seasons in Covington, Georgia. They got a handful of cars. They used 200 and some over the course of the run. None of them were Hemis, and there may or may not have been 1 or 2 4-speed cars, maybe. But John Schneider has said he never remembers driving one with a 4-speed ever.
Did you ever hear? Wasn't it like a Corvette color they used?
Yeah, it was. It's a GM color. It's
like
not a Chrysler orange. It's a GM color.
Yeah,
and it's a Corvette. It's like a '75 Corvette color. I think they're neat. But the one thing that stands out to me is that it's General Lee 1. Lee 1 was found in a junkyard in Georgia. Travis Bell got it. He's into movie cars. I hate what he did with it, though. He took the car and he said he just rebodied it and it's restored. No. What he did was he scavenged the parts from the first one, junked the shell, scrapped it, so it doesn't exist anymore. And now he has put it on another body. So it did exist in rotting condition. He scavenged the parts and put in another body. So Lee 1 doesn't exist anymore because of Travis Bell. So he is in my list with John Aruza of people who deserve a Nike. Yeah, this Bumpstick says he's seen one of the original Chargers from the show. If you're thinking about buying one of those, they go for a lot of money. And there's a registry. I think there's like 38 of them or some crazy number like that still exist. And they're all well documented. So if you're going to shell out the money, make sure it's legit because there's a lot of posers. Here's another one before we completely wear off the topic. I didn't know. Because they were building those cars so fast and they would go through 2 or 3 a show, they actually striped the roof. When they did the Confederate flag, they used medical tape to do the white striping on the roof.
Man.
Because that way they could just throw a template to get the blue and the red, just throw it on there and spray it. And then for all those lines, see, they didn't have vinyl back then. You didn't have the decal. Right. So they would use medical tape to stripe it out, and that saved a whole lot of time. And on camera, you couldn't tell the difference.
So 318 wheel run, can you click on that one?
Yeah. Okay. 318 wheel run is asking how the 5.7 is running in the Challenger.
So it does super well. I haven't driven it in a while, and the reason is I bought the Milodon swap pan, and it's got drips all around it. It's not bad. I've talked to 100 people that had the same issue, and what I think it is, I try to use a stock oil pan or pan gasket, and in the back, if I only had a Hemi pan lately. We stole my brother stole the drain plug out of this. Anyway, hold it really see it. Something about there was an extra set of holes in the Milodon pan, so I took a drill. That's what on the forums online it says. Take a drill and drill through those 2 holes. And y'all know I love my RTV, and it still leaks. So I haven't been able to mess with it much. I'm thinking it's more of a wintertime deal where I could be locked in the shop and get to it. And then, racing will be over with. So it's getting back shelled. I'm sorry.
Who names their kid 318 wheel run? I think that's his given name.
A legend.
I'm telling you, I think that's his given name.
I know his given name, but I won't give it away.
Yeah, so she knew. She knew what a beast he was going to be with his Mopars.
Yeah.
I enjoy his videos. I like his demeanor and the whole thing. He's a good dude.
Yep.
He's a good dude. Oh, and by the way, I'm working on a studio area in my garage after I fix my fire damage. I'm working on a studio area, and it's going to have stickers of other YouTubers. So I'll have my 318 Wheel Run, my JustMoparJoe, UTG, Lunar Outlaw. Any of you guys who have sent me stickers from your channel, they'll be up there.
I got a Hoosier sticker.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I need that.
He sent me some.
Yep. Cool. MoparJoe's in with the oil pan.
Has had issues.
Well, God, what is this? The Boss Hog Caddy was a hard top they used for, they did a lot of stuff like that for movies. They did a lot of goofy things like that. This is your chance, guys. I mean, JustMoparJoe, he never does a live. This is your chance to ask him. There's a fountain of Mopar wisdom sitting here next to me. You guys got to take advantage of this. Yeah, we are all 318 wheel runs, making do with what we had. I was talking with Joe's brother here a few minutes ago. He was one changing oil. When I was in high school, which was, 30 years ago.
Right.
The 318 was the engine for the have-nots, and the 340 was the engine for the haves, right? Really? Because back then, the guy that had, say, had 340, and 318 was just what people pulled out to make way for them or put them in dumpsters. And 318s had no value at all. And now, what we're seeing, the 340s are all gone. You're looking at, they're all gone, used up, blown up, junk for big money and all that. And you're seeing guys say, hey, you know what? That 318 is just 130,000 smaller bore, but it's the same engine, has all those great qualities.
Yeah.
It is. And now they're coming around.
I say, like my dad would talk about back in the 80s, if they saw a Charger or a Cuda or anything on the side of the road or for sale and they popped the hood, it was a small block.
Yep.
They'd slam the hood and walk away.
Right, yeah. Back then, they didn't even want 340.
No, and he even said if it was a 440 with AC,
yeah.
He's like, we didn't even want AC cars because we just take it off and throw it in the corner somewhere. And
a lot of people were like, if it's not 440 or Hemi, I only want to see a 400 or 383.
Yeah.
So, Hayden, we'll see you soon. Thanks for joining us. Let you get the munchkins to bed. Curtis Randolph just subscribed. Well, good. You guys who are not subscribed to JustMoparJoe, you really should be. He has a great channel. He's just... I can honestly say car channel, he definitely has the best 3,000 sub channel on YouTube, without a doubt.
They won't know who's that peckerhead.
That's right.
Running the lawnmower back there.
They're asking. You should come talk to them.
Unless they want to know something about John Deere lawnmowers.
Well, they may. Why don't you come ask them? What do you guys want to know about John Deere lawnmowers? And you'll get a question about one.
Hit me with anything.
All right. What questions you guys have about John Deere lawnmowers?
They don't have to be about John Deere lawnmowers. Anything in there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Lunar Outlaw he just said something that is pure sacrilege. He said, John, the word on the street is that you're putting a 2JZ in your dart. That's some kind of Japanese blender or something, isn't it? I don't even.
They sell those on Wish, don't they?
I don't even know what that is, but I know it's some engine I don't want to own. That's all I know about it.
You put a Taiwan twister.
Do you know what a 2JZ is? It's something. It's something that came in a car that I don't work on.
That doesn't sound quite familiar.
He's a rapper, isn't he? 2JZ.
2JZ. Yeah. You know what? That's what Jay-Z got banned somewhere, right?
Yes.
Beyonce got him banned somewhere, so now he goes by 2JZ. He just, how like when your password at the bank gets old and you got to update it, you just change it by a number.
Add a number.
That's what Jay-Z. That mystery solved. Look at that.
Are we missing anybody?
We solve problems.
34 people. All right.
I know. Seriously. Oh, Bumpstick says, I knew Bumpstick would know. He's a fountain of knowledge. It's an inline 6 dual overhead cam. Okay. When did John Deere start making Scott's lawnmowers? I didn't know they did.
He's not paying attention anymore. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just kidding. No, that wasn't a serious question. That was just, I'm going to come up with a question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Poppy's Wonderful World. I went the last 2 seconds. What is that?
That is Mopar Nut 62 had that question.
Yeah.
He knows. He knows.
Mopar Nut 62 knows a lot of stuff.
Yeah. If y'all ever need to know anything, ask Mopar Nut 62. He's my guy.
He's a smart go-to guy. He really is.
Yeah. He helped me out a lot.
Lunar says they can make up to 2,000 horsepower. I don't doubt that.
But will they last?
They may. The thing I like about, I'll tell you, so back in the 80s, you know who had the best hardware of any maker? Like the nuts and bolts and all that stuff? Was Hyundai.
I'd say it's probably somebody for them.
So we're talking about cheap cars that nobody ever thought. But I'm telling you, like the hardware, it's all CAD plated and washer head and nice. Yeah, who would have thought? They were way ahead of American companies on good hardware. And meanwhile, Chevrolet's hardware the same year was like made out of compressed tree bark. Oh yeah, so Poppy's Wonderful World saw 318 Will Run. Mrs. 318 Will Run took the van to the track. Yes, she did, and they were really close.
Did she have better reaction time?
I think she mile an hour.
Okay, mile an hour.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you better watch out.
He handled that very diplomatically, though.
I know.
I was very impressed.
I would not have even mentioned it. I'd be like, yep.
No,
She went, and that was good. We had a good time.
He was very diplomatic about it.
So here's a question for y'all. Like I've seen several. I was thinking about this the other day. Several channels that, like myself, I like to go drag race. I always put up my time slips so that people can see, and then it helps people kind of understand car's got a slow 60 foot or a good mile per hour or whatever for the combo. What do y'all think of people who don't show a time slip ever? I mean, is it, especially in art, like I'm not going to outrun anybody. I know that. Like I'm not trying to, but there seems like a lot of people that.
Okay. I can make a case for and against.
Okay.
But I can make it in this context. This is what it is. One, you should show your time slips just to show that you put the work in and what your reasonable budget and efforts produce.
I like
you
that.
should show a time slip.
It doesn't have to be everyone.
But I'll tell you why you shouldn't always show a time slip. Because some people, like with classic old hot rods and things that aren't fast by today's standards,
right?
They will not appreciate them if that car can't run 550 or some crazy time.
Right.
Well, who cares? We're not going to take this classic car that has leaf springs and, an old tunnel ram and it's 310 cubic inches and we're ladder bar it not to try to make it faster. We don't want to do that to it. So don't judge it based on the time slip. Judge it by what it is and when it was in that era and all that stuff.
Right.
And for them, we want them to get more interested in the car than what it runs.
Okay.
So I think it depends on what you're doing, but you just got to have that intellectual honesty about why you're doing it.
Right.
But the guy that goes out in his Mustang that looks like the thing ought to run in the 5s and the 8th, but he drives around over town in second gear and he runs beadlock wheels and all this other stuff, if he doesn't show time slips, he's got a problem.
So you don't.
Duddy's trying to figure out what the numbers on the time slip mean.
That's true. He's building a drag car.
Duddy has a neat channel. I'm telling you, he is.
I've been promoting Duddy for a minute.
I know he has great stuff. He's one of these places I can't believe more people don't know about him because I watched a few of his videos. Like, well, he's really good stuff.
I hope he bring me with you, Duddy, whenever you make it to the top, man. That's
with a name like 318, they expect slow. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, let me tell you, people like you and I and 318, we are making 318s cool again.
Yeah, I sent him an email after he showed his time slip, and I was like, dude, your car's like basically 60 foot and better than mine.
Here's the thing.
That has ladder bars and rear back halves and slicks and like.
All of these old muscle cars that have these huge reputations, a lot of them didn't run the kind of times that people have. And when they started talking about times is once they made them a couple seconds faster. I mean, but the bad thing about time is this. I would not want a young person to say, I'm not going to go get into drag racing because I only have a 10-second 8th mile car. I don't want that to happen. I want them to go out, do it, right?
Do it, yeah.
But I also don't want to see some guy trying to purposefully not show us the time because they haven't put the work in and their car looks faster than it is.
I agree. That just, it gets me because I saw a channel, it's probably been a year or two ago, and they had claimed the vehicle, I won't even say what it was running this amount of time. And I'm like, there's no way. How with that, it blows my mind. And if I would have saw a slip, I would have, I would have bowed down. I'd be like, that's awesome.
But don't make it all about the time.
It's not all about the time.
Don't make it all about the time.
It's all about the reaction time.
You know what? You can have more. I'm serious. You know what I had? You know what was some of the most fun ever? So I used to work in the shop and work on small engines and stuff like that in Bluefield. We would actually race riding motors out back.
Nice.
We had so much fun. I'm telling you, the Scotts and Husqvarnas were to be feared. They were fast. So it's not about the ET, it's about having fun. But the ET does keep braggarts honest.
Yeah.
So Mike Ivan was wanting to know, talk about choosing your launch RPM.
Yeah.
What would you say about choosing your launch RPM? Remember, he's the guy who can make a converter to do what you need it to do. So you get to pick the RPM, and he will make a converter of it.
I would say, he should be talking about it.
Well, sort of.
From my experience, like if, say you've got a big block car, you've got a converter. They call it a 4,000 stall. It may not stall to 4,000. Right. It depends on the weight of the car and the gear and the tire and all these things. In my opinion, I would rather take off at a little lower RPM so that converter can flash. When it gets that flash, like you can have foot brake cars pulling the wheels, that much every time, and that's what. So I usually try to stall. I would start at 2,000 if the car, hold it at 2,000 foot brake because I'm not used to letting off a button. I don't know anything about that. So
I love it. I used to brake the first time down at Hollis last year. It's great.
But allowing that converter to flash some, because there was another guy I really liked his channel, and he's holding that car like it's shoving through the lights, and he's trying to launch it at 4,500 foot braking.
No,
and then there was a couple episodes later. He said, "Wow, fastest times ever." All he did was like stall it at 2,500 or 3,000.
Well, got to remember though, you're a pretty accomplished bracket racer, and a lot of these viewers don't know that. He's a multifaceted guy. He can build stuff, but he's also a good bracket racer. So you don't want anything that's going to mess up your consistency.
Right.
Well, whereas I'm not a good bracket racer at all.
But it is.
And I just want to go fast.
And I've got the flaw of I found what I liked before, so I'll probably stick with it instead of branching out like 318 will run will say, why settle for good when you can have great? And I'm trying to get better. If I never try to launch at 3,000 and see what the car does, then how will I ever know?
So what is old Bump Stick saying here? He's putting together a Dodge Durango, and the motor just got machined, and the Terminator X for the engine just came in the mail. Do you know what Terminator X is? It's 10 sequels to that movie already?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think anyone will be interested in me making a video? Sure, I'll watch it.
Yes.
I mean, it's not my bag. When you say anyone, yes, people will. And the thing is, even though I wouldn't run that, if you do a good video of it, I may still enjoy watching the video and learning from it anyway.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of guys that are into like the tuning aspect of the Terminator stuff.
Yeah.
Like if I bought one today, I would go to YouTube and watch a tutorial.
Yesterday,
Yesterday,
Tony showed me a Barry Grant Demon carburetor.
Yeah.
And I've never seen one off the engine before. Oh. They weigh twice what a Holly. You ever picked one up?
Yeah, I used to.
They're like they're made out of lead.
Yeah.
So again, I wouldn't run one, but if somebody made a good video on one of those cars, sure, I'd watch it.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Simpson Speed Shop got a great dog. Yes, he does.
Yeah.
I've never talked to that guy, corresponded with him or anything, but he has a really cool little ride.
He's in Canada, eh?
Yeah, he's in Canada, eh?
Yeah.
Yep. He's like Terrence and Phillip without the other one. He's a pretty cool guy. I like the car a lot.
Yeah.
And
cool.
I'm anxious to see what he runs with this year. But they have some goofy track with this real weird length to it.
Yeah.
And it runs like a 522, but it's not I think
it's 300 foot or something.
No, it's I don't know. It's a weird track.
Yeah.
It's a weird track.
But that's a nice car.
Yeah, it's a really cool car.
I kind of I did a video on like my drag racing conundrum, and a lot of that I based on his deal. Like he had a 360, and he likes showing the time slips. I like that, and the 360 runs super good. It's both like stock bottom end or stock crank and rods. He bought pistons and the trick flow heads, and it blows my 408 away.
Yeah, I mean it's all what you want to do. I think the people who seem to be the least happy with racing are the people who just chase time slips for the numbers.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the weightlifters who are always going after that number and always going after that. It's not fun anymore. It becomes business.
What happens after you get there?
Right. What happens after you get there?
The dog chases the bus. When the bus stops, what happens?
Exactly. So to me, I can have more fun racing something slow. I mean, if going fast is nice, but
I got a slow Barracuda back there. I need to pull it back around at some point.
And by the way, he see, of all people who did not have a contest, he had he wanted to see what it would run, solicited guesses, and I said 811. We're going to go 811, and he ran an 811 with a 3, right?
That was
yeah, man. If any of you guys are like meteorologist sorcerers and can make it not rain in Paragould, Arkansas tomorrow, we would love to go to George Ray's.
Daddy's got a question.
What's that? Let me grab that. By the way, I got a light in my face to counteract this. It's making it hard to catch your questions, but we're doing our best. Duddy's asking if we're starting with an A-body, what would you upgrade first? What do you think?
Rear suspension or fitting the biggest tires in the rear.
Okay, so tell us, is A-body run and drive already? And what are we upgrading it for? I think that's 2 important questions.
So, I would think check out 318 Will Run's channel. Because
it's a great channel.
He's got some simple traction solutions for his A-body. I know.
Yeah.
If it was only going to be a race car and you only were going to race with it, I wouldn't be scared to go with ladder bars.
I wouldn't be afraid of them on the street.
Well,
Caltracs on the street are just fine. Andy Wood swears by the Caltracs. Now, here's the thing. The Mopar has the unequal length leaf spring, and you got the short front segment. Mm-hmm. It doesn't need that so much. So in my opinion, if it's a street car and it's already running, you want to make an upgrade, you could do that. But a super stock spring, if it doesn't bother you that it sits a little wonky, you can do that.
Even just clamping the front of the spring,
unclamping the back too.
Yeah, and unclamping
just
back,
as much. Yeah,
that's what my old Dave Morgan book says.
Yep.
And then put the biggest tire you can fit on it.
I'll tell you. You'll see something funny. When I visited, helped Uncle Tony move his shop down there, I took some video of Bottle Rocket where he was just out in the parking lot, nobody around. Mm-hmm. He's just out in the parking lot, just rolling smoke, having fun with the thing, just because he could, right? Yeah. So if you watch that video, you can watch how Bottle Rocket hooks up, and he broke a pinion stubber on it. But I did a slow motion video. You can watch how the rear springs work on the launch.
Nice.
It's actually a great video. You wouldn't get a video like that at the track because the track, it's dark and you got the lights on the top. This was broad daylight, low angle in a parking lot, and you can really see the springs work on the launch on that car.
Yeah.
So it's worth watching for that.
Yeah.
Max Wedge, Dick Dastardly Rusnick. Great username there. He said, I have 318s that ram better than some 360s. Sure. There we go.
I'm showing that to Duddy.
There's your opinion snubber.
That's what a pinion snubber looks like, Duddy. It snubs opinion.
Yeah.
I went to the store and said, I need a rubber snubber. And they're like, what is a rubber snubber?
I don't even know what that is, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, let me tell you, speaking of parts store, I went to the parts store today. I said, I need some inch and 5/8 freeze plugs. He said, we don't have any. All I've got is 1.625 inches. You can't always ask.
These people get to vote too.
Yeah.
Their vote counts.
318 Will Run says, honestly, I would rather take a couple of 17 seconds out of town than a couple of 12-second cars. You can see the leave, the gains, all in slow. Yeah. That's totally true.
Yeah. But I was saying, like Max Wedge, I think a lot of that's in the combo, like having a 318 with decent compression and head flow that would outperform a 360 all day if it was stock.
Oh, sure. Sure. Oh, totally agree. Totally agree. I mean, 273 honestly is really small, and the only way to make any power, you got to really turn those things.
Yeah.
The bore is just so small. It's 3.63 inch bore, but they are a little bit lighter. But I'll tell you, past that, the 318, 340, 360 all have a similar bore, and they all can take a full complement of timing.
Yeah.
And 318's got that lighter crank, shorter stroke. I like a 318. I think it's a good performer.
I may try to build one someday.
You should.
But I would probably buy some aftermarket heads. I feel like getting the head flow, doing it like 12 to 1 or something.
Yeah, that would make that would be awesome. So
roller motor.
I'm figuring out for my Dart Sport what I want to do, and I can't decide. To me, it's always better to have a part that's optimized. So, for instance, I'm thinking about building a set of J heads for my Dart Sport, and it will run high 6s in the 8th with J heads. Now, they're going to have a really nice port job. We're going to run a lot of compression and all of that, but I don't want my car to be. I would rather the car be the fastest car there with J heads than a middle of the pack car W2 heads.
Yeah,
that's just me. I want to be the fastest for what I have.
Right.
Like I see guys at the track with a big block that runs say 7s in the 8th with a really mediocre tune. Mm-hmm. And then you'll see a guy with a street small block run the same times, but his combination is just so much better optimized. Yeah. He's got his timing. He's curved it. He runs a lot of timing early. He's got his carb tuned right. Okay. He's got his everything is set up right. His air fuel, his gear
converter.
He's got the right converter. But he'll run the same time as the guy with the big block. I'm more impressed with the guy with the small block and the better sort of the out combo every time. 360s are always terrible on gas mileage. Okay, yeah,
that
given
for sure.
By the way, towing that trailer, I lost 10 miles per gallon towing that U-Haul trailer. I went from 28 down to 18, 19. Did 340s really kill big block cars in the day? Sure, I'm sure they could. I mean, a well-tuned 340 will leave a mediocre tuned big block. Sure.
Yeah. But
shouldn't.
It should not.
It shouldn't, but it could.
I think a lot of those stories come from people who had really good 340s.
If you have a 340 that's well-tuned and is making, a little more than 300 horsepower, stock even, it'll beat a 400 with that's not tuned well and all that. I can see that.
Yeah.
Not to mention you carry a weight penalty on a big block.
And the big block torque.
Yeah.
That sucker.
Yeah. My favorite big block is the 400.
I gotta show you that car before we leave today.
It's hard to blow up a 318, or they just like low pressure to bust the block. What does that mean? They just like low pressure to bust the block?
I've never heard of a 318 block blown up unless it was turbocharged or something crazy.
318s are durable. Let me tell you, guys with Fords and Chevys use 318s in demo derbies. They can run them with just no timing to get away with running hot, and they work. Some 340s were pretty fast back then. Absolutely.
Yep.
Buddy's asking LA versus Magnum.
Duddy. He's been sending me messages on Facebook too.
Wait a minute. Here's the second half of this. Do you spend the time to build up the 302 heads, or go straight to a Magnum? Tell him about your experience with 302.
Pure
heads.
race car build, he says. But it could be the same for Magnum.
It could. Yeah.
So I did a video on Hayden's heads. I know he's not watching anymore. I went out to the engine out there and pulled them off and took them to the machine shop. He acid dipped them, pulled them out. Both heads are cracked between the seats. There's more crack than Harlem in these heads. So I did not use those heads and did not port those heads. I've got the heads that I ported over there, and they were like a 77 truck head, I think, 318. But like as he says, roller 302 head roller. Okay, so if you could find a Magnum head or go to Advance or somewhere, you could buy. I always hear you can buy a set of Magnum heads for $500 there.
Yeah,
but I've never done it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I bought a whole Magnum motor for $500.
Sure,
to get the heads off of it.
Right.
And then I've got a Magnum 360.
They're all good options. I think if you're starting from scratch, it is good. It's worthwhile to get the roller block.
Yeah,
get that roller block.
302s and 308s crack. I agree.
They do. I'll say this though. There are a million heads being driven around in traffic right now with cracks in them. People don't even know it because they run just fine. Yeah. And here's the thing. You got to think about it like this. You see that crack? No, we can't run it. But think about it. How many times have you ever say, well, gee, this engine blew up. Let's see what went wrong. It never was we pulled the head and found this crack. That was never what went wrong. It never causes the valve seat to drop. It never leaks anything. It's scary, but it's there, but it doesn't. It's benign.
Magnum's crack too. I agree with that. I mean,
they do. A lot of these imports crack.
And I think Duddy had that experience in the past where he pulled a Magnum apart or something, and the heads were cracked, or he couldn't get them to reseal or something. I don't. He'll let us know.
So Bumpstick says the Magnum's cracked, but not into the water. Exactly. They don't. They don't. Yeah. It is what it is. Yeah, 318 Will Run says the cracks do not usually cause an issue. I don't even mean usually. I don't even mean usually. I mean ever. I don't know if I've seen the crack cause an issue.
Right.
Like even the valve seats, nothing. I mean,
I think it was could backfire like a cannon.
What?
They said who else has had a 318 that could backfire like a cannon? Maybe if the timing chain was so sloppy that it'd skip a tooth every so.
Lunar Outlaw Garage, you see you're getting ready to go live. What time are you going live? We'll plug it. So Lunar Outlaw, I guess he's getting ready to go live here next. So yeah, go on over to him. We were only going to take an hour to do this, have some fun, and interact with you guys, and get back on building this thing.
Got a motor fish.
But yeah, I mean, Joe hasn't done a live before inexplicably, so I thought he needed to, and we thought we'd do one from here. Amazingly, this internet is working.
Not bad.
He said, if Verizon will work and this will work, we're good. Otherwise, we have to use, quote, my mom's gangster internet.
She's got some pretty gangster internet out there, guys. It died on Friday.
Just cracks me up. Favorite 360 build year? Do you have one?
Maybe. Was that you that said a 74 block was really good?
The 73 through 7 up to 76 on the 318s were cast on the same core as a 340.
Okay.
So theoretically, those earlier ones you could take to a bigger bore, theoretically. But I'll tell you, they're all good. I've not seen a bad year for them. Right. And all that thin wall stuff's a bunch of garbage. If you either sonic check them or you don't. It's just that simple.
So I got this for the bad tree guys. They don't drink full strength. They have the what did he say? A Barbie Dream House size case of beer the guy brought over. He's like, what are we gonna do with that Barbie Dream House size?
This is interesting. So 318 Will Run says the cracks between the seat will cause a problem if you go crazy with the spring pressure. Oh. Okay, well that's interesting to know. So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go crazy with spring pressure because we've got to know. You remember Dirty Harry when the bank robber says, I got to know. Did he fire 5 shots or 5, 6? We're going to find out. We're going to go crazy with some spring pressure on some cracked heads, and we'll find out. Somebody got to do it.
We were looking the other day, like, is there like less available solid roller cams for small block? You're like a Magnum. Like I only ever see hydraulic rollers for Magnum. Yeah. They want to have a performance.
318 Will Run is also saying 71. He likes the build year, but I mean it's fine. That's an early one, and you don't see them. I mean,
has he ever sonic checked any of them? I never have.
So what is it you like about that 71 build year particularly? I will say that
Rodney agrees.
It's fine and dandy, but you got to understand that's also 50 years old. So what's more available to people building stuff? Just that 360 out of a church van that still runs. It's an 80-something model.
Yeah. No, Joe, not Canadian Kool-Aid. Come on, Duddy.
Chris Greenaway is here. Chris Greenaway? Look at that.
Hello, Chris.
Chris, do you have any questions? There's 32 watching here, so.
How many likes do we have?
I don't know. It's a good
That
question.
always seems to be a
I
deal.
can't tell till I look over. Oh yeah, so he got 27
Okay.
likes.
And no dislikes. Thank you.
There's 32 watching, 27. That means 5 of you guys are slighting us. Okay, yeah, he's saying a 71 bore can go to 4-inch 100 Rodney bore. Well, okay, yeah, well, that's a 60 over 340. But the thing is, I think they kept that water jacket up through 1976.
Okay.
1976 seems to be the year that Chrysler retooled their castings. That's when they did the bigger mains in the big blocks, too.
Okay.
And the 400 and the 440.
So the thrust bearing changed in the big block?
You've got those thicker main webs.
Okay.
It's 76, 78 the last 3 years.
Yeah.
But I think that's also when they changed the casting and gave 360 a dedicated casting because they no longer made a 340. He says more compression in 71 for the 360. Yeah, any degree of aviation. I don't know what the compression is on them. I think was it like 8.8 versus 8.4 or something like that.
I got an old book over there. I can.
Yeah.
It's so old the pages are crusty on it.
Chris Greenaway is frustrated with the formula. New parts have tighter tolerances than OEM. Okay. What parts are they?
Then maybe like if they're doing that for bearings, it could be because like if you polish a crank enough, it's going to lose some, and it's already ran 200,000 miles, so it's going to lose a little.
Tighter tolerances are not always, if ever, better.
Oh no, I don't think so. But maybe they're trying to overcompensate.
That's not. 71 uses a flat top piston. It's only a year for 9+1. Okay, okay, fair enough. I'll tell you what I think's neat. I've never done it, but I may have to do it one of these years since I have all the parts to do it with.
Yeah.
Put a set of 72 340 pistons in a 360.
Oh.
You get about 12 to 1 doing that.
Beast.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I'll have some 408 pistons for sale soon. Cheap.
Oh, look at this.
I got to go 12 to 1. So.
Duddy says, yeah. They're only humoring me. Hey, you know what? I got to hear that Barracuda fire up this morning. He moved it because it was sitting right where we're working right now. But because unless you guys can call in a favor to the gods of rain and make them not rain tomorrow, we would like to take that out and flog it a little bit up in Paragould. But it just looks like the rain is going to make that not happen, unfortunately.
Let me shut that back door.
I don't care.
Can y'all still hear us? Let me shut the back door. I'll ask.
Yeah.
Somebody shut it. Your mouth. That's what he said.
71 was the last year for points and direct. The Strillamuter. Yeah, they went to electronic 72.
72?
Yeah. Let's see. Badger says, excellent. They know what they're doing. Don't ask us. Okay. I don't even know who they and us are in that case. I'm building a 318 in my Challenger. I'm deciding whether to go aluminum heads or port to stock. Well, what do you want to do with it?
Yeah. And what's your budget like, more importantly?
Yeah. What do you want to do with it? What's your budget?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they're talking about bad. Have you seen any bad tree videos yet?
Yeah, I've seen a few. You know, my favorite, and this is going to sound goofy, and this is not selling you guys short, but I think one of my favorite things you have is that homemade clutch spring compressor for torque flight. You got that thing that looks like a giant waffle iron that you pull down for doing that giant spring in the drum. I think that's pretty cool. That's nifty.
Saving beer money, I guess.
72 and up 340 pistons with Magnum Heads work. Okay. Neat. 340 board to 416. King of the road. My buddy's Duster beats a garage full of 396 straight trees. Okay. Rodney Bird says 4-inch crank. Is there a question in that? It just says 4-inch crank.
So the 4-inch crank gives them a 416 or a 408?
Yeah. Oh, that's what it's saying. Yeah. I remember before the 4-inch crank.
I broke one.
Did you?
The Eagle cast crank?
Yeah.
That was my first 408 experience.
Nice.
And I was in my orange Cuda, and I only got it to like a 755 or something. And I decided one time, like, got this 150 shot. I might as well put it on here. And I put that on there, and I was like, man, it slowed down. I came back around and pulled it up on the trailer, and the top radiator hose blew off. And I'm like, oh no, did it leak a head gasket or what during that? Because it was not getting fuel. It was only eating nitrous for that slow pass. And
ouch.
I made like 5 other passes after that, and then sure enough, the crank broke in half, like first journal.
So my Dart Sport, when the first owner had it when it was a race car, he actually managed to break a cast crank. It was the cast original 73 crank in that.
Mm-hmm.
He said when it broke it in the main journal.
Yeah.
He said they took it out. He said it didn't even hurt the bearings. They replaced the crank, put it back, and we're running the next weekend like nothing happened.
That's the pistons. Yeah. So Rodney says Scat or Mopar Performance. I got a Scat in my 408 now, and that's what I'm gonna keep that crank. My other pistons, it just like the motor slowly seized up. It wasn't even. I watched it lose oil pressure. I cut it off, and the pistons are great.
Captain Do asked, which is better, 340 muscle or 360 gas guzzler? I'm going to say 360, just because that's what nobody wanted me to say.
Yeah.
And they're cheap and plentiful, and they work.
I'm an oddball, man. I only ever had a 73. I had a 73 Challenger, the original 340. It was like black car, black vinyl top, the black strobe stripes down the side.
Yeah.
And the car ran like a dog. It was low compression. Like,
yeah. Battery says Jabo made that. He made it in shop class in the 80s. Yeah, I love it.
I even took off the thermoquad and put on a Edelbrock so I could get it to run faster. I know the battery guys are like that.
Yeah.
They love the thermo bogs.
Bump sticks as Eagle cranks are cracking. I've heard of 6 of them this year.
This was
I can see that.
8 or 9 years ago.
Battery, there we go. See, battery agrees with me. 360 is better. I don't necessarily disagree with that. I like 340s because they're nostalgic. Whoa, Rodney Bird, what were we doing there?
318 polished steel crank brake.
That's a tough crank to break. All right, Captain Dude's heading over to Lunar's Live. It's 6:01. So we were just going to go live for an hour, guys, and peel away from this because I'm traveling. I wanted to drag Joe into the world of doing these live streams because they're just so much fun, and I want to give you guys an opportunity to ask him questions or anything. So, any of you guys have anything for Joe, and get your last licks in, and head over to Lunar's and tell him we sent you.
Yeah.
This Duddy asks if a 5.9 Cummins counts. Typically, it's a 360. No, it does not.
No, Duddy.
No, it does not.
Duddy's in Mexico anyway, so I mean.
A 364 doesn't count either of what we're talking about.
He's a Texican. He's not.
Max Wedge, Dick Dastardly Rusnick asks if I have any sprag bearings and spring for a 727.
He needs that stuff.
Oh,
he sent me a camshaft. So
yeah, okay. We'll see. I don't know if I do or not. So I have one 727 in my world, and this guy's like trying to bogart it. It's sitting over there on the floor. We may get to use it or something. We'll see.
It'd be
We're not gonna party it out though. Not on purpose.
No.
I'll tell you what I'll do. If we destroy it, I'll send you what you need.
Yeah. If the front drum explodes.
If we blow it up, I will take it down in a bag. I'll send you what you need.
If we can blow that front drum up with this 318.
Do you have one that's broken down and broken like that? We can. So say if you have one that's busted and scavenged, I'm glad to do it.
I got a bunch of pieces out there we can look through. That's what I told him. I looked through my giant box full of those, and I didn't see those.
Any sprag bearings and spring?
Because that's what normally strips out, right?
I was going to say, you're talking about the rollers and springs. I'll tell you what, if we dig around and find any of that stuff, and I make him some deal where he wants me to build him something, something like that, and there's stuff left over, and it can be a win-win-win type of deal, we'll get them to you.
So,
all right, guys. It's a 357. This is the kind of thing that Bump Stick knows right here. It's a 357, not a 360. It's a 357. But I measured it. It's 5.9 liters. But I know.
Is that the Cummins you're talking about, or the
I guess.
LA?
I guess no. The LA is definitely 360.
I learn something new every day.
Well, no. Okay, you guys, let's do it for real. 3.1415926 divided by 4 times 4 times 4 times 3.58 times 8. Okay, a 360 is 359.900,848 cubic inches.
He really just typed all that in there.
So there we go. That is what a 360 really is.
That was some quick fingers, man.
All right.
JustMoparJoe at Gmail. Is that what you? Yes, Zach. That's correct.
Hey, look! I just got a notification that I'm live.
You better check on that, man.
Yeah, I know. Do I need to do something with that?
Yeah, Bad Tree prefers the 904, but after doing that 727, I feel more confident. Man, everybody, my bracket racers love 727s because they last for freaking ever. Like it's
okay. It's settled. I'm going to have to build him the 904 now because he doesn't understand how great these things are.
The car would run faster.
Is that what we need to do? Am I going to build you 904?
I might have one out there that's locked up.
Let's do it. Let's build a 904. He needs to understand.
I don't have a converter. You got a convert? Where's your converter?
I've got a converter.
Okay.
Mike, I'm going to take care of you. Okay. You know what? This could be something that happens because I told him we want to collaborate on something else that will not be this 318. It will be something else.
I mean, we could do a back-to-back deal where
something.
Run it one weekend with the 727 or get my best time with the 7, and then throw this in and see what happens. But
how about we do that? We'll do something like that.
It'd be nifty.
I think he's going to drop at least a tenth and a half, going from a 727 to a 904.
Will it last 5 seasons?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You want to put enough clutch in it?
I'm used to the.
Whoa! Look at this.
The live stuff. Everybody's here.
Wow! Bad Tree. Thanks. Thanks, man.
That's for me, man.
I appreciate it.
You weren't even drinking beer.
What? Gee, thanks. Go get some more beer. I help cutting better lights tomorrow.
Nice.
I'm telling you, I'd like to go. See, Mike says I'll build you a nice converter. Thanks, Bad Tree. I really appreciate that, man. Make sure to get you on the screen. Any of you guys who are not subscribed to Bad Tree Productions, you should. That's a fun channel. Those guys have fun. They really do. You can just tell they are having a ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go. See, Rodney Bird knows some stuff. I wish I had more 999 cores without a lockup and a 5-disc crunch drum. So, Rodney, all you got to do to go to a non-lockup, you need the input shaft. You need a non-lockup input shaft. And you need to take the pump. There's a check ball in it that you just knock out. And I've done it a couple different ways. I've done it by packing the hole full of grease and smashing it with a brass punch and push it out hydraulically. And I've also I took a curved punch. It's just the right size curved punch from Harbor Freight. I curved it. Yeah. And it'll go in there, and I sent it to Joe, and Joe said, never use that punch for anything else, or it won't work anymore.
Put that in your special drawer.
Yeah. So, yeah, you can curve a punch. It'll go around the corner just enough, and you can knock that ball out. And then you obviously run the non-lockup valve body in your business.
359 comment. It's my fat thing. Oh, Bump Stick was correcting himself.
Yeah, 904 is underrated. I agree.
Build a Stroker 400.
A Stroker 400. They already have one. It's called 440. But I know what he's talking about. He's wanting a short rod stroker.
I've been dreaming about. It'll probably have to be next year. But I've got a 400 block that 440 Source sells a kit. Yeah. They sell a million kits. I was just going to buy their 440 crank that is already turned down.
Yeah.
And then use stock rods. Yeah. Buy some pistons.
Well, a lot of people want the short rod advantage because you get two things out of it. You can run a shorter rod if you want to, but the bigger thing is you get a lower deck height. Lower deck height, shorter intake runners, higher RPM. That's what a lot of people like. Yeah. And, you run a shorter, lighter piston. There's a lot of advantages to the 400. Not to mention it fits a little bit better.
Yeah. I might have to put a big block back in my black truck whenever it gets motoring again.
Oh, look at this. Don and Wendy English just got here. Oh, my. That radius stator and bevel drum. Yeah, well, that's true, but the beveled drum is for 5 clutches. So you could still run a 4-disc, a 4-clutch drum, and then you can run 5 clutches in it. You can get 62,000 thin clutches from a place like A&A, and you can run 5 clutches in there and get a thin snap ring, and you can still run 5 clutches in it. Do they sell beer where you live, or do you have to make one of those Oklahoma pounds? Does this place have any blue laws, like weird hours on buying beer and stuff? South Carolina's like that.
Arkansas, no beer. You can't buy beer on Sunday.
Okay.
And
That's why he made his beer run on the way here today.
my lovely wife tried to buy some before. She's from Illinois, and they put it on the counter at Walmart, and they're like, they looked at her like, "How dare you?"
Oh. All right, guys. We're gonna wrap up here, and can you explain the 400 stroker does 451 for novices? We're going to make Curtis Randolph's the last question just because we want to get back to work, use the rest of our daylight, and send you guys over to Lunar's Live. So let's make this one the last one of the day.
Yeah, so use the 440 crank. They turn down the main journals, right?
So just for starters as a primer, your 440 has a
375.
It has a 10 3/4 inch deck height. It has a 3 3/4 inch stroke, and it has 6.76 inch rods. The 400 has a 9.98 inch deck height, so it's 3/4 inch less deck height. It has 6.3 something inch rods. So the rods are a half inch shorter, 400 inch shorter. And it has a 3.38 inch stroke, which is only 70 thousandths different from a 318, 340.
Yeah.
So I think of a 400 kind of like a small block with a huge bore. That's kind of how I think of it. Now, I know that's weird. Purists will hate it, but that's the truth. So you can get advantages of both. You can make a stroker. You can get the short rod if you like the short rod with short well and all that. You get the shorter deck. Now, if you notice, like a pro stock, those guys are running like just a little over 8 inches of deck height and a 500-inch engine. Like there is no China wall.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no RTV to seal.
What do you put your RTV on?
All right, but there's hardly any rail at the top because that thing is literally like a point. And the reason they do it is because they want the really, really short intake runners. You can see the intake. You take the carb off a pro stock, not that they're ever going to let you look through it, ever. Right. But if you took the carb off a pro stock, you can look down and see the entire top of the intake valve. It's a direct shot. And for high RPM, that's what you want. You want the short intake runner. Most of you street guys don't. You're truthfully better off just running, the 440 and leaving it alone.
Yeah.
I like a 400. I think it's a great engine. All right, guys.
I think we made it.
We're gonna wrap it up. Do you make beer and dessert? All right. See you guys. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate you. More to come from later in this trip. Later.
See y'all.